Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another Aldi budget food shop challenge, and this time I only spent £19 something. But without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So let's go into the food shop. I did vlog when I went shopping, so this is me getting my basket, and I always go in with a list, so I never go in without an idea of what I'm buying. So I make a beeline for the things I'm buying, and I try not to get tempted by things that are on special offer. I try to just go with a really clear plan in my head so I'm not sidetracked or tempted. When I make my list, I also go onto the Aldi website and I cost everything up as I'm writing my meal plan. So in my head I kind of have a bit of an idea already about what's relatively affordable, and I'll choose, for example, a protein. I'll go onto the website, I'll find out how much that costs, and then I will research the prices of things that I'm going to put with that, just to make sure it's coming in nice and low budget. My favourite time to go to Aldi is first thing in the morning, because it's when all the shelves are the best stocked. It's also a lot quieter, so you can just kind of run around and get in and get out, and you don't have to spend ages. So the Aldi website does have all of the prices of all of the products listed on there, and you used to be able to do click and collect, but you can't do that anymore, and I'm not really sure why. But you can still find all of the prices of the items that you need. So sometimes, for example, when I'm thinking of a meal, I'll have a look at how much it costs and I realise it's just way more expensive than I thought, so then I just wipe that. As you can see, when I was doing this food shop, I got to the freezer section and I wanted 2 packs of their fish fingers, and they didn't have any, but I know that Sainsbury's do an Aldi price match on some of their products, so I was able to run round to my Sainsbury's, which is quite local to where I live as well, luckily, and I was able to grab those fish fingers at exactly the same price as what I would have paid in Aldi. Really frustrating that they didn't have them in Aldi, but I guess they are the budget things, and so they probably just sold out of them. It was absolutely fine. A lot of shops now are doing Aldi price match. That's another thing to definitely check out. I'm actually thinking of doing a Sainsbury's budget challenge, but using like primarily their Aldi price match products. But that was the food shop done, so now it's time to have a look at everything that I bought. Okay, so we are back from the 2 shops because, as you saw, I needed to make an emergency trip to Sainsbury's to make use of their Aldi price match for these fish fingers. But I've just got back and I've laid everything I've bought out just so we can see all of it, and I've sort of kind of grouped them into the meals. So these items are for our fish finger wraps, which will give us leftovers. These bits, chopped tomatoes, butter beans and the chorizo, will be for the chorizo and butter bean stew, which will also give leftovers. We've got 3 tins of baked beans for breakfasts. We've got the reduced fat sausages, hoisin sauce and broccoli for dinner. Then we've got the mozzarella and the baby plum tomatoes to make a bruschetta for our lunch. And then we've got 12 eggs, which are also for breakfasts. So in total here, I've got my 2 receipts. The Aldi shop was £17.45, and then the 2 packs of fish fingers in Sainsbury's were £1.60, which gives me a total of £19.05 for 3 days worth of food for 2 people. So I'm going to put all of this away now and get ready to start cooking it tomorrow. And then in addition to what I bought at the food shop, I just wanted to show you there are a couple of things that I'm going to be using as part of this meal plan that I already had in, so I didn't need to buy it again. But the first thing is I've got most of this bag of a Aldi Essentials long grain rice, and I think that's a kilogram bag, and that is 52p, I think. Then I've also got most of this loaf. I literally think I've only eaten 1 slice of this. It's the wholemeal essentials loaf, and that's 47p. And then we've got most of this bag of red onions, and so we didn't need to buy any more, and these cost 95p. So to be honest, the onions are like a bit of an added bonus. I would say you don't need them for the meals that I'm going to make. They're just nice because they add a bit of flavour. But these 2 things, if you were going to add these onto the same food shop, you'd probably be looking at spending about £20 in total. Now it's time to get on to the cooking. So for the breakfasts, you saw that I got the tins of baked beans that I got 3 of. So between me and my partner, that would do us, we'll have half a tin of beans each and maybe 1 or 2 slices of toast each. So that will last us for a good few days. And then the other breakfasts that we did were either a fried egg on toast, which is what I'm making here now, but we also did scrambled eggs on toast, and I also made a couple of just plain omelettes throughout the course of the week as well. 12 eggs. If you're eating like 2 eggs at a time, then the 12 eggs will last you a fair amount of time. We also did have like a couple of half-empty boxes of cereal, so we would alternate throughout the week, and so we were able to have different breakfasts based on what we already had in the cupboards. And the reason that I didn't put butter into this shopping list is because when I'm doing a fried egg on toast, for example, the yolk is nice and runny, so that kind of like moistens it up a bit, so that's absolutely fine. And with beans on toast you don't need butter either. So next is one of the lunches that I made throughout the week. Most of the lunches were leftovers from the dinners, but I did make this lazy bruschetta, which is so lazy because it was using one of those garlic baguettes, which are an absolute bargain. They're 72p for 2, and I sliced them up into like half slices of the original baguette, so there was a little bit more surface area to work with. But I literally just sliced a load of baby plum tomatoes and the mozzarella, and I just chucked it on top. So I baked the garlic bread, and you can just see I'm just throwing all of the baby plum tomatoes on top, and this was really tasty. I did also find a bottle of balsamic vinegar knocking about in the cupboard. You don't need this, but it's nice if you do have it laying around, so I just drizzled a little bit of that on top, and it was a really nice light lunch, but it was quite filling. And I am watching my calories at the moment, and this wasn't too bad. The garlic baguette is a little bit naughty, but the mozzarella and the tomatoes, it was really nice. It felt really healthy. And next, this is one of the dinners. So this is a super easy, you chuck it all in one big pot dinner, and I was using the other garlic bread for this, so this was a bit of a garlic bready day actually. But I just sliced up the whole chorizo and one of the onions that we already had, and then I threw in both the cans of butter beans with a little bit of the water left in, and both of the tins of chopped tomatoes as well. Gave it a really good stir, put the lid on, and I just left it for a while. And then when it had cooked, I came back and I used probably about 3/4 of the bag of baby spinach that I bought, and mixed that through, popped the lid back on, waited for the spinach to wilt so it went all nice and tender. And then the garlic bread was done, and as you can see, this made 2 dinners for myself and Kyle for the evening, and then it also made us a lunch each for the following day. So that was really nice and handy. I think we both took those lunch boxes to work the following day. But this stew is so flavoursome and smoky, and because you've got the chorizo in there, you don't really need to spend a lot of money on different herbs and spices, because the chorizo has such a smoky like paprika flavour anyway, and it must have like garlic in it as well, and the tomatoes, it's such like a hearty, warming, stewy dinner. So I love this, and we make this on rotation. Like whenever we can't really be bothered to cook in depth, we'll do this chorizo and butterbean stew because it's super cheap and it's really tasty. The next dinner is also a super simple one. This is the stir-fried hoisin sausage and broccoli on rice. So we already had the rice in the cupboard, but as I said earlier, it's nice and cheap to just pick up. It was 2 big heads of broccoli all sliced up, and the sausages sliced into little chunks, and literally just stir-fried the sausages and the broccoli in a pan together. We did use an onion as well, and then boil the rice separately. And again, this made 2 dinners and 2 lunches, and they're super filling. They feel really healthy even though they taste so good. So the hoisin sauce, because it's pre-made, it's already got soy sauce and loads of like flavourings and stuff, so you don't need to buy all of them separately. And I did also find a jar of little sesame seeds in the cupboard, so I put those on top because I think that just makes it look a bit nicer. So that was another dinner. And then the final dinner is easier than all of them before, which, how can it be easier than what I've already done? It's fish finger wraps, which is the cause of the drama of the fish fingers and the Sainsbury's trip. This was super simple. It used up the wraps, both packs of fish fingers, because we then again had lunch from it the following day. But literally all we did was bake the fish fingers, we used the salsa to spread on the tortilla wraps, and then we popped the remainder of the spinach from the stew the night before into the wraps, rolled them up, and that sweet potato that we bought we cut into chunks, and because the sweet potatoes in Aldi are huge, it made enough so that we had enough for lunch boxes the following day as well. And I'm putting my hand up to the wrap because it's such a huge plate of food, really nice and filling, and super cheap again. So that was my Aldi budget challenge. I will leave my shopping list down in the description with the cost of all the items as well, because I just think that's really helpful. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this was useful if you're budgeting. We are very much in the camp of budgeting at the moment. We love a bargain, but we're also trying to eat quite healthily, and we're trying to like watch the calories. So this one was maybe slightly more geared towards like a lower calorie goal, but we found that this food, there's 2 of us in the house, and we've actually still got a tin of beans left in the cupboard from that food shop. So this fed us probably for about 4 days. We had the leftovers for lunches, and we didn't have any snacks in between really. So that is what a £20 budget at Aldi can get you at the moment. I'm really enjoying doing these budget cooking challenge videos, and it seems like you guys are liking watching them as well because I'm getting a few more views. So I'm gonna do more of these in the future. And the last one I did was plant-based, I think, because it took place during Veganuary. This one, it did have meat in, but it was a bit more like calorie controlled. But I'd like to think of some more like themes, or you know, higher protein, just different like challenges or goals to see how I can make them a little bit different each time. So if you have any ideas, please do let me know. But I really hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye!